Bingy, Okavango, Rasta, Yaga, Chuck Fender, the Living Fire represent to the fullest. See? Perfect balance. Don't know so. Trad class. Living Fire represent. Keep the fire burning out. What the man will like, keep it like right. This is it.
Yeah, man. So we do give thanks to the ancient them, you know, the ancestors, you know. Yeah, libations go towards the ancestors. Big up Leonard Howell, the original gang. You know what I say? Garanguru Maraj. You know what I say? Yeah, man, the man will come show black people say, yo, them not have to depend upon white people. Them can do them thing themselves and establish themselves. You know, see. Yes, sir. I say within the movement of Rastafari is really where the heritage of a Leonard Howell really curated and immortalized. You see it? Them not really talk of Leonard Howell on an average. And it's surprising to me the other day when we hear saying in a 2022, them present him with the order of distinction. You see what I say? But like even with the discussion where them say Bolt and Bob Marley to be national heroes in a Jamaica. Leonard Howell to put up in a them the argument that together to be a national hero in a Jamaica, brother. You get me?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
most
man.
people don't know about him. Most people don't know about the gang and the works. And the works when perform, you see me?
Mm-hmm.
At least no work for it before you have a national hero.
Yeah. So what kind of works Howell do then?
What do I mean?
What kind of work him do why we should have considered him be a national hero?
Are you said that thing up?
Eh?
Are you said that?
Yeah, but the idea must say nobody know about him. So me I say what kind of work him do? Yes, I am a
I go in a reasoning, man. I go in a reasoning. So, you know,
Yeah.
him not start it right. Him if you say, all right, what is the gang known for? What is Leonard Howell known for? Kick it off, Bingy.
Yeah, so if we talking about Leonard Howell, we talking about the gang as he's known, but we talking about why he's so important, right? A man with a vision who fights against authority. He fights against police. He fights against colonial authorities. But in the meantime, he's the first Rasta, so he's citing, right? He's a Pan-Africanist, right? So he's citing Africa, but not only does he cite Africa, he cites His Majesty too. So in a nutshell, right? And we could talk about it a little more. Leonard Howell, as they call the is the first Rasta man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he established the community known as Pinnacle as well, right? But one of the things that people always come back and say to you is, well, Leonard Howell, or those who do know of him, a little of him, they'll say, well, oh, he's a Rasta man, he never wore locks, right? Very important, you know, because the eye never wore locks. He was the first Rasta man, right? Because the principle he established is Rastafari, even inciting His Majesty. So that's how he becomes the first, because he points I and I to the king, right? Even then. So that's how he becomes this first Rasta man without locks, because, you know, a lot of people who even know of him, that's one of the interjections, right? But
the early days of Rastafari movement, you know, Rasta culture never really wear locks.
no, beard.
Rasta never wear locks in the early days of Rastafari.
Yes.
So them was referred to as beard money.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's part of it in a nutshell. But Leonard Howell was amazing, because you have this great Pan-Africanist Rasta man who is establishing a community and fighting authorities as well. But one of the things you see about a lot of people too, when they come with this understanding without even a Marcus Garvey, they have left their homeland. One of the things we see with all these great leaders, they have left their homeland, made a journey to get this world experience and put it into work, you know. They didn't gather this information and kept it to themselves about who they are and what they represent. They came back and they shared it with the people. So Leonard Howell did that same thing, you know, that make the journey to Panama. You go here, there, work, and you gather it, but you come and articulate it. But you articulate it in a way where you're going to establish a people and a movement, you know. That's still from then till now, right? I Rastafari. Yeah.
And contextually as well, Bingy, when you
Yes.
look on the historical time frame
Yes.
where all of this is happening, this is one of the reasons why me said the warrior supposed to be a national hero, because him come and fight for African people. We'll use the term independence, but in the real sense of independence and not the political sense of independence, right?
Right.
Him come say, we must come up and stand up and establish. And you mentioned of Pinnacle. No, Pinnacle is the birthplace of Rastafari, right? There's a lot of negativity and thing around even the Pinnacle situation, because we have to understand, say, in at this time, right? Leonard Howell organized a strategy where he could have come and own over 500-acre land in a Jamaica in a time where black people wasn't allowed to own land, right? No, the one organize it and do that. So that alone in itself is a miracle, right? This, you understand? Is a phenomenal act, right? This, right? Then the man organized people to come occupy this 500-acre of land, brother, and establish a thriving community, brother, in a time when, because the ones them come from all around and say, yo, we are come rise up our thing, because see, we have, and is a thing to us as well, for sure. So you see, us as a people, if we are given the opportunity to rise, we will rise. A lot of times it's just to create the opportunities. And His Majesty said the keys to success is opportunity and planning. The opportunity is always important. You see me? So for do that in at that time is extremely heroic. It's extremely heroic.
So I understanding still, because I realize when I hear a lot about the gang in a lot of reggae song, I don't hear enough artists sing about him. I don't hear enough artists bring him up. Saying so, I don't really know the reason for that. But in my mind, I wonder if a order or house them a hold because him belong to a different house or whatever. I don't know the reason. I need to have a full understanding of that. But based on what go on in a them time that were transpire really, because Marcus has a self-reliance. And him come cite up the works of Marcus and is aware of His Majesty's life and teaching same way, because in a them time they are Marcus and His Majesty.
And coronation.
And coronation, yeah. At them time there, at them man they are the light for I and I in them time there. So based on him teachings, him take on some of the principles, him take on some of the models, and say, yo, a farm where I go farm we out of this, a food where I go eat out of this, where I go produce food, so we can feed the nation and feed the people them, have a community that is self-reliant for everyone. You see me? Yeah, and you have enough people never too like what go on, because remember see the plantation them depend, you know. And just a trod off of the plantation, same way. You see me? So enough people in a government never too like the ideology, and you know, saying at them time the same way, a whole heap of fight from you say Rasta. Whether with locks or without locks, yeah, get same way.
Yeah, man. You see, what it is, you know, with it wasn't even so much that them a fight against the farming, you know. It was the opposition to the establishment that was the issue. Because you must say, listen, we can remember say Jamaica gained independence from Britain in 62. These things that happened 30s, 40s, 50s that come up. So in the time when they might do it, you know, Jamaica directly under the control of Britain, you know. You get what I'm saying? So when he might come and say, yo, death to all white oppressors. No, this can't work. You understand? He might come and teach say, of the divinity of His Majesty, of Haile Selassie, the divinity of Haile Selassie. That can't work. You understand? So all of these things put him at odds with the establishment. So yeah, it's like for example, we have a man where a man said a public enemy number one.
Yeah, for sure.
So people in order to, because we must say the music is like a, what do I call it now? It's like a publicity thing, you know, popularity thing, you know. So people now go want to associate with things where I go bring a negative thing to for them thing. So because of the negativity what surround a Leonard Howell, people probably just avoid dealing with it. I say, reasoning, you know. Because it's a thing I wonder about as well. Like I say, I want all the ones them that really represent him in the culture a lot. You get me? I say, like if you don't really come within Rastafari to a certain extent, you don't really get a lot of information about Leonard Howell. You get me? I say. So the only thing we can see when I say because of the them stigmatize him, make a lot of
And
people would stay away
this
from
is
it.
what we set out to highlight so that people can have a clearer understanding of who the man is and the person the man is and the work that the man has done throughout his time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And but talk about Leonard Howell as a younger life. You know what I mean? He was born in Clarendon, and as a youth, he ended up 13-year-old. He witnessed a murder. Cause that's how the journey began. He witnessed a murder, and he didn't want to testify. He didn't want to testify, and his father ended up smuggling him away to foreign. I think it was Panama. And Panama. He was supposed to Panama, and you know what I mean. So most of his early life was spending between Panama. Cause he left Panama, went to the United States, and that's how he ended up meeting the great Marcus Garvey and joined the UNIA with Marcus Garvey. You know what I mean. So most of his early life was spent abroad, and he joined with Marcus Garvey, and with the whole thing with the UNIA, he ended up in jail in America and was deported back in Jamaica, I think in 1932.
Was your boat, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
and a year after, he started the Rastafari
Journey.
movement, you know what I mean? Because, you know, in 1930, his majesty got crowned, so it was right in that time, you know what I mean? He started the Rastafari journey, you know what I mean?
And the Rastafari journey, when we talk about that, is when we talk about the divinity of His Majesty.
Divinity of His
And
Majesty.
This was what he was known for.
Bingy, you remember when because even though we knew Leonard Howell was the first Rasta, he was the only one saying these things, you know.
No, man, he must
Yeah, the other virgin name.
Dunkley.
Dunkley. Yeah, and
Dunkley
was two of them.
yeah. So
more than two of them, man.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
three
yeah.
men. It was
Yeah.
Howell, Dunkley, and another virgin.
Yeah. Coming through bringing the word, but them man still they proclaim His Majesty King of Kings, right? You know them and that's what make it important that we could distinguish why we say these things, right? Because they proclaim His Majesty. You know, they come in the Messiah. They call it Leonard Howell, and them didn't just say, "Look to the east, and a king is rising," and they say that is the Messiah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. They say
Right.
that is the Messiah. Which
Hey,
is very important, you know, because when we talk about resistance, remember you talking this in a Christian world, you know. You think that is the king, an African man is the king, you know.
Hey, Bingy,
So that becomes very important.
some people don't realize how important it is, you know, or how significant it is, you know, for a man to come up with a Pan-African view, you know, to change the mind of Africans, you know, from having this white Jesus or this white person or white as their God, you know. They must just change it and bring everything to Africa, you know. Here, I don't know of it, but somebody can tell me. I don't know of another spiritual movement that was started in the Western Hemisphere. It's the only spiritual movement that have its foundation in the Western Hemisphere. I don't know of another one. So that's all significant, because all of the other really spiritual movement them started in Africa, in Western Asia and Southern Asia, you know what I mean, those places. You know what I mean? And most of them are some ancient tradition we are going for a long time. This is like a baby to most spiritual tradition. You understand? So that's all significant.
Very significant in time
very
period.
significant.
to
So even
yeah,
as black people to start
yeah,
something like this in the West,
yeah.
it's like it's very significant, man. And very, you know what I mean? It's something to look at. Because
Yeah.
this doesn't exist nowhere else, you know. This
And listen,
Rastafari doesn't exist nowhere else.
it's
Like
a
the whole
very
thing.
it's a very holistic thing happening too, you know. Think
Yes,
about
sir.
it in the sense that even though we're talking about this being proclaimed, it's proclaimed with profound knowledge, you know. You know, one of the things, Joseph Hibbert was the other brother. Joseph
Yeah, a
Yes,
Hibbert,
couple
sir.
of
Yes,
them
sir.
one, a
right?
couple of them
But
one. Yeah,
but something
Heinz, Ibert,
profound
Downsley,
is happening
Bedward,
too, you
Prince
know.
Emmanuel, only for them one.
But check this out. Still, think about the influence and cultures as well, right? The I pen, his authorship was on a Hindu name, Maharaj, right?
Mm-hmm.
His pen when he wrote as an author, he didn't use his name. He used a Hindu authorship.
G.G. Maraj.
Yeah, he did. All right,
Garanguru.
right. Which is
Garanguru.
important to, you know, the influence of this movement based on a natural understanding, a natural vibration, because that's what it is, right? When you deal with Hinduism in its stage of the guru. So we have a guru here, you know. We
Yeah,
have a
man,
guru
Garanguru.
on
Hey,
our
man, I see him
show.
line. I
But
see him
wait,
line that come from, man. I see him
Garanguru.
line. I see him
Garanguru.
line
That's
it,
one
man.
name. That them name him, you know. That them name him, you know.
yes,
No,
sir.
The reason why I
no,
get
because
that
I'm going
name,
to
you
have
know.
a guru here, matter about me, so matter the same line.
Yeah, man.
Big
Yeah,
up
man.
them.
See, man.
Hey,
Because the guru, right? We have to remember what the guru means, most of all,
Right.
right? The
Master
guru,
teacher.
it means the dispeller of darkness, right? So that is very important what the guru itself means, and he represents that, right? He's represent that in his physicality, in his knowledge, in his fighting against established wrongs. And the church at that time is
Was
still
one
the
of those.
authority. And once you claim the Messiah is African, man, you get in a fight, brother.
Big
You know,
fight,
big up,
especially
big
in
up
our
all
time.
guru.
Yeah,
No,
man.
he
Big
just
up
said that
all
no,
guru
you
and
know. He just
master
said that
teacher,
no, you
you
know.
know.
Yeah,
Give thanks, give thanks,
guru,
give
man.
thanks.
Something the name though, the Garanguru Maharaj. The
Yes.
reason why I get that name was because of him links to the Indian community, you know.
Yes.
Because the Indians had a community and the Chinese had a community, and he had a strong link to them because you know, say he might deal with the herbs. So he might deal with the herbs
Nature.
and he must supply the herbs to these people so them have a connection. And even the establishment of the Pinnacle was as a result of these relations too. Why he was able to come from own Pinnacle as well.
And it was inspiration, you know, because when they were here, they had communities, you know.
Yeah, man.
They had communities, so him like one, because they had community, him want to create an African
Yes, sir.
community.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
And that's how him come up with
The
the
influence.
energy to say, yo, Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man
And
say,
them help him to overcome the obstacle towards land ownership. You
And
see?
he
All right.
included it, and he included it in such a great manner that giving thanks for the knowledge that he even gained from these people, his pen becomes a Hindu name. But that's the real importance, right?
they were the Hindus, right? They were Hindus.
Yeah, Hindu. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So more time here.
So,
Them I refer to the Trinity.
Well-
And at the Trinity, you make mention of Marcus, Emperor Selassie, and Prince Emmanuel. Saying, and in no way we hear them mentioning Leonard Howell, the gang. So, may I see that as a deliberate move to exclude him out of the thing? What do them feel about that?
Yeah, that first me hear your brethren footer hype. That one of the thing them we cause all them thing they do. Me hear footer hype. This like it might dispel Leonard Howell as the first Rasta, as the man we start Rasta. He must say and Marcus Garvey. Are the man we start Rasta. And that is so far from the truth. So we want to
It's
set
far
that
from the
straight right
truth.
now because
No.
it's so far from the truth.
No,
And
it's
just-
not. It's not.
It's far
It's
from the
not.
truth.
It is.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right,
'Cause
so
remember, say,
I will tell you why, and you come after.
hey, good.
Because even though Leonard Howell was with Marcus Garvey in the United States, Leonard Howell was deported to Jamaica in 32, right? And them claims them start Rasta in 33. But Marcus Garvey was already in Jamaica. Marcus Garvey got deported in 1927 and was in Jamaica. And Marcus Garvey, while in Jamaica, he was more on the political side, forming the first political party in Jamaica. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if he was the first Rasta, we never hear of him doing nothing but Rasta. He was forming the PPP and doing, you know what I mean, doing Pan-African thing. When Leonard Howell dropped a Rasta, him start right away. You know what I mean? So we don't know where that come from with Marcus Garvey being first Rasta. The first thing we know, Marcus Garvey as somebody who not even raped Rasta. Far right, the man. You understand? So we don't know where that come from. So I think that you have some other information we don't know about.
I don't know of Marcus Garvey not rating Rastafari, the man. I think that them have differences in terms of strategy, but I don't think it's a matter of him not rate Rastafari, the man. You understand? So I don't really condone that the reasoning there. But what may I say is that the views of a Leonard Howell, right, are what established him as the first Rasta. And these are views that were cultivated through the teachings of Marcus Garvey. I'm surprised that you take up this reason to, Okabongo, as a man who born out the first thing, And as a man who born out the first thing. See, I'm surprised that take up this reason. But may I say, the reality of life is that our works stand predominant. Works. Marcus Garvey doing works, Leonard Howell doing works, and there is no competition between the items. The works already are set in a stone. It's immovable. Them can't move it. You see me I deal with. The works what Leonard Howell do, invaluable. The works what Marcus Garvey do, invaluable. You get me? So there's no competition between them and them, brother. You get what I say? We recognize the works of Leonard Howell, we recognize the works of Marcus Garvey. And Leonard Howell was a Garveyite. And him come to Jamaica and him establish the movement. And him, first of all, remember to say, Howellites, this movement was called what Leonard Howell established, The people who tried after Leonard Howell,
Dada, I'm waiting you to tell me how Leonard Howell didn't start Rastafari, That we were
because the vision what Leonard Howell come manifest was as a result of the seeds that were sown under his tutelage.
So he was inspired by Marcus Garvey.
Right.
And he was inspired by other Hindus. He was inspired by a lot of people. But all of his inspiration come together as Rastafari. Marcus Garvey didn't have the inspiration come together as Rastafari. Later Howell inspirations, when it come together, you get Rastafari out of
and Marcus Garvey.
Ras, I want to see you see there's no disagreement between how Leonard Howell cite His Majesty and the way Marcus Garvey cite His Majesty.
No, that's not what I said.
Without a doubt, Marcus Garvey never really liked His Majesty for the things he said of His Majesty, right? What is said by Marcus Garvey about him? He criticized His Majesty when he
on a particular strategy
or how he treated the people in Ethiopia. What I saying is Leonard Howell come and proclaim His Majesty Messiah. And that is the birthplace of Rastafari, not with Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is a Pan-Africanist who influenced Leonard Howell, like many others have influenced him. His total outcome is still Haile Selassie Messiah. Yes, Marcus Garvey wasn't preaching Haile Selassie. We want to be clear on that.
Never Pan-Africanism.
But Marcus Garvey Marcus
Marcus
Garvey
Garvey, Pan-African.
identify Haile Selassie to African
Yeah,
people, brother.
yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt
Yes,
about
And
that.
Marcus Garvey
but it's
identify
Marcus
Haile Selassie
Garvey.
to African
But it's
people, brother.
Marcus
And
Garvey.
Marcus Garvey
Oh,
identify Haile Selassie to Leonard Howell.
Not that but I don't even want to say that. Because himself look to the east.
yes.
Right. But I don't think he was specifically talking.
He was specifically talking
No,
about
he
Haile
wasn't.
Selassie.
He wasn't.
What do you think
The
he was talking about,
disparity
Dr.
between
Bongo?
Marcus
The
Garvey
time when
and
him said
Haile
that,
Selassie,
at the time when him said that,
Mhm.
His Majesty wasn't the emperor of Ethiopia.
he was crowned. That's why I said, look to the east in the crowning.
It was in 1930 that Marcus Garvey said that, right?
Right, and the
Yes,
crowning
it
happened in
was
1930.
1930. He
But
said,
what
look to
I'm
the east.
saying is, the point I make is, you see, all of these things is to create division again within far right.
No, there's
And
no
I
division.
have
brother.
said,
No, that's not division.
the
No,
works
it's
of
not talking about the
Marcus
track class.
Garvey,
I know the track class my reason now.
the works of Marcus Garvey stand predominant.
Yeah.
The works of Leonard Howell
Yes.
stand
Yes,
predominant.
yes,
but no,
The works
but
of
no,
Haile
we have a
But
Selassie
we're not
reason
talking
and
about that,
predominant.
Ras.
Brother.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah,
We're
we
talking
know this
about
fire.
Rasta. Who
Yeah.
Right?
established Rasta?
And
That's
I'm
what
telling you,
I
sir, in the
reasoning about.
establishment of Rastafari, you still cannot go around Marcus Garvey.
Nobody's going on Marcus Garvey.
No,
Right,
you're
so
not going
that's why I
around.
tell us that that's why the discussion become
Dada.
mute.
You're
All right.
not going
Yaga
around.
mentioned something, right? Yaga mentioned
Mhm.
something, right? 'Cause I
Mhm.
think that's right established. Yaga
Okay.
mentioned that Leonard Howell is not speaking about enough. You understand?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we are saying these are some of the things
That's causing it.
well causing it because
Mhm.
people give him accolades to other people.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is saying that Marcus Garvey is him start Selassie,
Mm-hmm.
which is not factual.
It is factual.
When,
Dada.
Ras,
It is
when?
factual.
Dada.
When?
It is factual. It is factual.
No, so Marcus Garvey started Selassie is divine.
Bring
Marcus
Haile
started that?
Selassie. Say again?
Marcus Garvey started Selassie for Emperor Selassie is divine.
No.
So but that is Rastafari the proof of
That's the
Rastafari.
one I'm talking about.
Right. So, but what I'm saying for you, and this is why I said this, the reason of who set it and who this and who that become mute. Because the works of Marcus Garvey inspire Leonard Howell to come and say, Haile Selassie is the divine, without apology, without fear of punishment or retribution, without fear of personal injury or personal loss. Him come and stand up and say, Haile Selassie
Ras,
is
that's a
the divine.
combination of thing that goes to no one man roots. In your journey,
Then
your
that-
in your
that's what
journey,
I say for you.
in your
Then that you
journey,
say,
in
Mhm.
our journey, every
Mhm.
influence is what culminates our
then
understanding.
that's what I say
There's
for you.
no-
So
there's-
this is why me I say the reason mute because the works of Marcus Garvey influenced Leonard Howell, and as a result of that, Leonard Howell come and manifest the inspiration what him get in this work. And the work grew and evolved in the movement of
I
Rastafari.
can't attribute Rastafari to Marcus Garvey Dada.
Nah, Ras, that's a whole different thing.
So
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey now have nothing to do with the movement of
Nobody
Rastafari.
said that.
So
And
why
Marcus
you not
Garvey
say that? Why you not
influenced
say
Leonard
that?
Howell.
Marcus
That's what I
Garvey.
said.
Marcus Garvey, as I stand for, is the first Pan-Africanist, right? And I share those principles. Africa, right? Because we are African. What Marcus Garvey has given us is dignity, right? He has taught us about self-reliance. He has taught us about who we are and what we must do, right? So what the I represent for African people is the first Pan-Africanists who have awakened us to I true reality, right? Our Afrocentricity, as they call it, right? That is who Marcus Garvey is, the father.
You see, everything
so-
we just say
so
for you,
it
you
is
see,
the
everything we
father.
just identify, you see,
Because
everything
we
just
identify with that. Those are Pan-Africanist identity presented here. What I say when they talk about Rastafari. It's the
pretty
benefit.
true, man.
Pretty.
Because, but what
So-
I'm saying before you say what on there? You see, this is exactly why Yaga I mentioned. We are talking about Leonard Howell, and we're going to talk about Marcus
Garvey.
You understand?
Right.
Because we need to focus on Leonard Howell.
Leonard Howell.
And let me even mention that because we need to focus on Leonard Howell and pick him flowers then.
Right.
For him though. And so it was not about Marcus Garvey. You understand? And Leonard Howell. Yeah, go on, Yaga.
Yeah, so we're gonna clarify that point about the inspiration for Leonard Howell from Marcus Garvey, and Leonard Howell go on to found Rastafari. See, because is a master or a teacher and a student situation. So if me inspire Dada, and everybody knows I me inspire Dada, and Dada went on to do greatness, I forget some of the accolade for that and some of the credit for that as well.
Yes, sir.
So in the same
Absolutely.
breath, because Marcus come and say in 1930, look to the east to the coming of a king, and he inspired Leonard Howell, who then set up Rastafari, because Rastafari him a deal with, but most Rasta attribute that statement to the fact that them set up Rastafari because Marcus said, look to the east to the crowning of the king.
But what me I say is, me no want we go on like we go use anyone to discredit the other. You get what I say? All of the
No, but
ones
that's
them
not what
work.
happening,
We're
Raj.
not
Right.
discrediting
But me I
anyone.
say,
Yeah,
that is
Dada.
nothing.
I and
That
I
is
not do
not
that.
what happening.
In the third class, I and I not do that.
Yeah.
But in the reason in general,
Right.
that is what is happening. Because most of the ones that move there have these reasonings, them not have the awareness to know say none of the item works don't discredit the others.
Right.
You understand? And that is the point I bring out. I said, me no want if we go on like we are, it's like a next, like how you have within the Islamic world, we have Sunni and Shia and these things.
Right.
People are going to say, oh, this one I did the one and that one I did the one. No, brother, within Rastafari, the whole of the
We don't
item
have
will
that.
complement each
We don't
other.
have that, but it's still on us to get the historical facts right. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So we can't just like all over the place. What is the fact is the fact. You understand? Leonard Howell,
Things are
the whole
happening.
Rasta as a thing, Leonard Howell was the founding
Within
member.
Rastafari culture, my lord, within Rastafari culture, all I and I hail Leonard Howell as the first Rasta.
Yeah.
So there's
So-
no disparity
Right.
within that.
Right.
You see my deal it? So if a person come and want to try to say, oh, it's not the first Rasta Marcus Garvey, and he might get his reasons of it, which is fine. But the point I'm making is that we don't want to, because remember, I said, these are some of the things that happen within Rastafari movement
Yo,
to bring about
that-
a lot
that-
of divisions in a Rasta. You know?
member say no one heal Marcus more than Rasta. A Rasta carry Marcus. You understand?
All right.
Sure.
A Rasta carry Marcus
Sure.
from then time till now.
Till now.
A Rasta still have Marcus.
Marcus
You
Garvey.
understand?
Yes,
You
sir.
understand? So
Because of the very
Rasta could have
same
never.
statement we're making in 1930.
Right. So we highlight Marcus because we know say Marcus a part of the root of Rasta, but we have to the whole establishment of Rastafari, the whole, you know what I mean? Linking Pan-Africanism with spirituality. You know what I mean? That is Leonard Howell, that thing. You know what I mean? That nothing to do with Marcus.
We need to be able to highlight our pioneers in their perspective of their work then.
They
right?
work with
Right.
Without having to say, hey, because of this one. No. We want to say what this one did, right?
But
And-
within Pan-Africanism, it's impossible to do that for you.
No,
because we are
not in
all
that
as a result
sense.
of
In the
each other.
sense that where we give credit to something actually happening then. So we saying,
Yes.
hey, Leonard Howell is the one who say Haile Selassie is Messiah, right?
Yeah.
So that's all it is. So we highlighting Leonard Howell. We not concerned with nothing else. There's never no division between the fathers then. They can be, right? Because
No,
a
it's
seed is
impossible.
planted from that seed,
It's
and then
impossible.
it keeps on continuing, right? That
Yes,
it's a
sir. Yes,
continue.
sir.
Even for I and
Yes.
I right now, that seed is I and I.
Yes,
right
man,
now,
because
so
yes,
it
sir.
just continues.
Yes,
So
sir.
talk about
Yeah.
how special Rastafari is, is very unique, Because you have a lot of Pan-African movement, a lot of
Yes.
Pan-African movement,
Yes.
different movement. But this is the only Pan-African movement with our spiritual nucleus. You understand?
Yes,
The
sir.
spirituality is connected to
Yeah, man.
Pan-Africanism.
Core, at its core.
At its core.
At
You
its core,
understand?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? I will say Marcus and Malcolm X and all them did have was Pan-Africans. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But spirituality never tied to that. It was more political. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Rastafari come bring the balance.
nah, no.
Yeah, yeah, man. So we do give thanks to the ancient them, you know, the ancestors, you know. Yeah, libations go towards the ancestors. Big up Leonard Howell, the original gang. You know what I say? Garanguru Maraj. You know what I say? Yeah, man, the man will come show black people say, yo, them not have to depend upon white people. Them can do them thing themselves and establish themselves, you know, see it. And we used to have a big up and burn out, you know, so we have got burn out the leader them who oppose the man in at the time when they might do it instead of strengthen him. So we have big up Garanguru Maharaj and we have burn out the leader them who oppose him. Yeah, my big up and burn up that day.
I said the perfect balance, third class. I don't know, say a Chuck for the living for this represents. Good over evil, me tell them see a life over death. I swear, said I will never switch. Keep the fire burning out. Holy Manuel I Selassie, Jah, blazing fire.